The next motion operator we're going to take a look at is called BubbleMotion. And BubbleMotion is located here under the operators in the standard category. Just a point of interest, the velocity, BubbleMotion, and A-bomb, they all affect particle motion. You might think they belong in the dynamics, kind of with quite a few of the other particle motions, but just how TP evolved, they're in the standard category. Let's go ahead and create a second rule, and we want to affect our all group, and we'll go ahead and come back to standard and grab BubbleMotion, drop him in there, connect him so he knows which particles to modify. And now when we go ahead and scrub, of course nothing happens. The reason for that is that BubbleMotion is going to actually require that the particles have kind of an initial velocity. So we'll come back to that first rule, drop a velocity in there. Let's go ahead and set them to speed 20 with some speed variation, and we'll put them out in the Y direction. Okay, master dynamic edit on the fly is turned off, so we get real-time updates. And we'll come back here, and we can kind of see that they're jittering really quickly. Little nervous particles. Let's go ahead and we'll change their amplitude. And increasing it, you see, is going to kind of make them go slower. And actually it creates a wider pattern. And then their speed of how fast they move, let's go ahead and decrease that, and we'll add some variation. We'll also add some amplitude variation. So now these particles, you can kind of see them zigzagging and kind of waving around here. So this is really what BubbleMotion does, is it's going to give some extra wavy motion to these particles. And of course, we'll right click and say visible all, and all these input parameters here we could modify on the fly. Like if we want that amplitude to change over a particle's age, we could pipe that in there. If we want a particle's size to determine maybe his period, then we could do that. And as well, maybe his mass should also affect his amplitude. Just kind of jumping ahead, if you want multiple particle parameters to affect something, you could always grab a helper, maybe add multiply. Take his size and his mass, maybe multiply those together and use that as the amplitude. So, interesting point with BubbleMotion, the period input refers, of course, to the amount of time cycle it takes to go through a cycle, but it's also listed here as speed in the parameters, so just so you know. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of BubbleMotion. Let's go ahead and move on. We'll remove this rule and take a look at the next one.